But then, like you say, like the midfield and the way you look at that, like, you know, Gravenberch in particular, Slaughter, has turned into, you know, his own player, but Klopp is the one who brought him in. But McAllister and Szoboszlai were already doing these things last season, albeit in slightly different systems and in slightly different guises. Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott, I'm glad you mentioned those two, because they are players that ultimately, you know, Klopp says he regrets not giving Harvey more game time, but Curtis Jones, I think I've said it every time I've spoke about him as a player. I remember watching him for Gerrard's youth league side, and he was almost a Philip Coutinho left winger, where, you know, he wanted loads of time on the ball. He wanted to be able to cut inside, get a shot off, beat his man. I'd have never dreamed that he turned into the footballer that he's turned into now, and that is a testament to, you know, the gift of a midfield in general, but also just in Jones in particular that Klopp has left behind for us.
Well, it's Jones, but it's also the vision of the people working around him, the way we transformed him. I think when he obviously broke through with the FA Cup goal against Everton, and he was that creative player, I think we then spent a season taking the creativity out and sending him into Gini Wijnaldum. But the fact that we did that has rounded his game completely, because he's still got the creativity, but he's got that ball holding skill. And, you know, at the beginning of the season, he was obviously first choice. But what we have at the moment is, I found it interesting at the weekend when we brought Endo on, and Endo sat in front of McAllister, and that is not something I thought we'd ever see doing. So again, it was that experimentation of a game that he had completely wrapped up. But we've got a manager who thinks about different ways to use them, and even within the game, those three, the obvious three, he will use differently in games. He's tweaking game by game anyway. And Jürgen did this, he would tweak game by game, so it wasn't a 4-3-3 and we're going to do this. This three will do this in this game, and it might be that the midfield three was facilitating, but they were also creative at times. And so we've got that balance, we've got that promise. Harvey's still only, he's 21. He's got plenty of time to come through and make a difference. Szoboszlai, people are beginning to appreciate the fact that, I think we had this with Sadio Mane. When Mane first came into the team, that first game against Southampton, that first goal where he comes from the wing and goes in.
Yeah, it's Arsenal, yeah.
It was Arsenal?
Yeah.
He never does it again. For 6 months, that's the best thing he does for 6 months. But then we reinvent. And we've reinvented Szoboszlai because he came in, he was this silky, talented, and because obviously, you know, he's a 6'3" lad, he's a good looking bloke, he looks cool, you think he's going to be silky skills all the way through, and he's going to be Gerrard. And he's not, 'cause he's just getting in and doing the nasty work, he's playing in the front line, he's breaking through. We're doing different things with lads that we thought could only do one thing, and we've reinvented pretty much everybody on the pitch. We've reinvented Trent. Trent played purely right back through the first half on Saturday and hardly moved out of it. Second half, he was a midfielder. And no one talked about that. We talked, because we were sat in the stands talking about, well, he's not getting forwards as much, he's not getting into midfield as much. Second half, he sat in midfield because we didn't need four at the back anymore. Yeah. So he's made Kostas Tsimikas into a better player. He's made these tweaks that he's been left a gift. He's been left a better gift than most managers ever get, because most managers go into a job where someone's failing. He's gone to a job where, at the point that, as somebody said, Paul Merson said, 6 weeks from the end of the season, Liverpool were top of the league. We were, but we know what went wrong last season. The dream died and everything fell apart. But that was the team that was top of the league and in 4 competitions. It's still that team. We notably haven't added anybody. We know we haven't added anybody because loads of people complained about it. But it was so good it didn't need it. Yeah. And then they had Chiesa. And when Chiesa comes through, we're looking great. I don't know what it is going forward, but I have faith it'll be great. But also, we've had that back room that obviously still worked under Klopp, because there were people there who saw Gravenberch, and Gravenberch was Klopp target for 2 years. Yep. It's not that he went out and went, who do we get, and got him on the last day. They've been talking to him. They've been talking to him for ages, by all accounts. And they'd said the 2 players would be transformational would be Gravenberch and that lad who went to Madrid, who
Tchouaméni, yeah.